Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Well, hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Today we're coming to Psalm 83, so all this week, Psalm 83, and this is the last of the Psalms of Asaph, at least in this little section, this little blurb that we've had, this bubble, beginning back in 73 and coming all the way now to 83. Next week we'll have this a psalm by the sons of Korah. So we'll talk about that next week. This one, the introduction says that it's a song, a psalm of Asaph. This follows on the heels of 82. Now in 82 we learned about judgment. Remember, he asked, how long are you going to judge unjustly? And then he tells us how to judge. He tells us why we need to judge. And then he shows us judgment. Well, here in Psalm 83, we open with a request for judgment. So 83 following closely on the heels of 82, where we end with the statement, "Arise, O God," and then we're asking him to come and judge. Now we're saying the same thing, but this 83 is really an expansion, I think, on 82:8. So they fit together so nicely, these psalms. Just if you just have some time in your Bible study as you're looking at the psalms, compare one psalm to the next. So the one before it and the one that comes after it. Compare them together and you'll notice there's these subtle links between the psalms as they're composed, and not only composed, but the way that they're placed together in the Psalter is so important. So we're coming now to this psalm, which, as I said, is a prayer request for judgment. God, the psalmist here, Asaph, is asking for God to judge. Let me now read verses 1 through 4. That'll be our text today. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So you see, the very first thing here is, keep thou not silence, O God. So at the end of 82, he said, Arise, O God. Now he says, don't be silent. Keep not silence. Don't hold your peace. There in the B part of that first verse. Hold not thy peace, and be not still. So he's asking God to be active in judgment, to come and see what's happening. He's inviting him to listen in now on what's going on. Now he begins to tell him why the request. So the request is, don't be silent, don't be still, hold not your peace, because, verse 2, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Does that sound familiar at all? Oh, absolutely. Israel is always being consulted against. They, bless their hearts, they stand in a very difficult spot in the world, have always and will always until the millennium. They will always be the ones who are plotted against. The enemies have made a tumult. They have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel, consulted against thy hidden ones. So, of course, we always see that. And then notice verse 4. For verse 4, you can read this today in your local newspaper. I guarantee you can find something that sounds exactly like this. Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Does that sound familiar? Absolutely. The Arab states have had this as their battle cry. Islam has had this as its battle cry for years, generations. Let us cut them off from being a nation. Now, we're going to look at all the nations that he's talking about. We'll do that tomorrow because he gives us quite a list tomorrow, and we'll investigate the list. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.